Now, Vladimir Putin has arrived back in Smolensk for a meeting with the investigative committee. Are there any updates, Marina, on the cause of this disaster?
Well, as I said before, the emergency services and the investigative committee are still working on site to recover every single bit of evidence, every single bit of what is actually still out there. A Polish delegation of investigators has also arrived on site, and it has been decided not to move the major pieces, the major debris from site until the middle of the week, so that the Polish delegation, the Polish investigators, can also look at everything. Polish investigators are also cooperating with Russian investigation in Moscow in actually trying to decode the black boxes that were recovered yesterday. And so far as it stands, a technical error is out of question. What we have heard before, though, that it was entirely the pilot's decision to try and land here, even though he has been warned repeatedly that the fog is too thick. And Prime Minister Putin, as you said, is back here, and he is heading the investigation. He is heading the commission, which also consists of the Minister of Emergencies, Minister of Interior and Minister of Transportation, and everybody is trying to figure out what exactly went wrong and how. Let's now have a look at the background of this tragedy. It was planned as a ceremony to be remembered, a service to mark the Katyn massacre here in the forest near Smolensk. Everything was ready, only the guests of honor were still missing.
We were at the forest there from the morning and preparing this big event for us, and all the people were waiting only for president and this president's delegation. And in one moment, one of the Polish journalists told us that something wrong happened with one plane in the airport here in Smolensk, but at the beginning nobody know any details. After a few minutes, somebody told that probably it's a plane from Poland. At the beginning, nobody realized that it could be true. In fact, we didn't have time to stop to think about it.
Pavel was among the first to arrive at the site where the Tupolev 154, carrying the Polish president and senior members of the government, crashed 400 meters from the landing strip. Everyone on board died instantly. Flight controllers had warned the pilot that the fog was too thick to land, but he went ahead anyway.
In the morning, the weather conditions at Smolensk Severny Airport were difficult. Fog was expected. The Polish Tu-154, with the Polish president on board, was informed of the weather and was advised to divert to a different airport due to the worsening weather conditions. The crew decided to land, and this does not go against international practice because the final decision is made by the captain. The air traffic control officer gave several orders to divert, but the plane continued with its descent. Unfortunately, this ended in tragedy.
Passers-by say they saw the plane flying so low it was cutting off the treetops as it went. These boys were on their way to school and rushed to the area as soon as they heard a loud bang. The picture they found was one of devastation.
We were walking over there and could hear the plane flying. So we turned around to have a look and saw that it was not a local plane, because normally they're blue and white, and this one was red. And it was flying a bit lower than usual too. Then all of a sudden it ducked, then reappeared, and that was when its tail caught some trees. Then it started leaning to the side, and the wing caught more trees and the power lines, so it came off. The plane flew a little bit further and smashed lots of trees and ended up crashing on the other side of the road. It was scary. We went there to have a look, but only saw the wing. So we went further to where it crashed, got there in about 15 minutes. We could hear police sirens by then. Parts of the plane were scattered on the ground and there was lots of blood. It was all torn apart, people, the plane. There was no chance anyone could have survived. It was horrifying.
Emergency services worked throughout the night to recover the bodies of the victims. In some cases, their identification will take a long time. To the relatives who've arrived in Moscow to take part in the process, Prime Minister Putin himself promised all the support they will need.
We must do everything possible to discover the causes of the tragedy as soon as possible. Secondly, we must do everything that we can to help the families of the dead. They are coming to Moscow to identify the bodies, and we are going to help them in this difficult moment with transport and accommodation. There must be experts to support these people at this difficult time. The Moscow authorities will pay for all the expenses, and all the agencies must work together.
This is the airport where the high-level presidential delegation should have landed. They came to commemorate a dark event in their history, one that has overshadowed relations with Russia. No one could have known that for a second time, this region would see so much death of the Polish political elite. And for those who did make it to take part in the Katyn service, they now have to come to terms with the death of their president too.
It was very hard to believe. We are planning to commemorate the deaths, to say a prayer, to light a candle.
Marina Zarubin, RT, Smolensk.
And as the body of the Polish president is